So a long-standing feature, maybe the longest-standing feature of Cold War propaganda in the West was the Soviet grocery store. So we thought it would be interesting to take a look at a contemporary, modern-day, 2024 Russian grocery store 2 years into sanctions.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Tucker Carlson going to Russia. And aside from the Vladimir Putin interview, which was fantastic, by the way, if you've not seen it, go to his website, go to his Twitter and watch it. But aside from that, he was exposing some of the realities of Russian life, including going to a grocery store and checking out what they got going on. Now, I'll tell you, what he played at the very beginning was kind of what I was thinking Russia was like at a certain point. I mean, maybe not everywhere in Russia. Maybe you could find some places where it's not quite that way. But in my mind, I'm thinking about some of the old Soviet stuff as existing right now all over Russia. I'm thinking it's kind of like Cuba. But is it really that way? When you don't go to a place, when you're not there traveling, it's easy for propaganda to stick or for it to be spun. Now, you know the funny thing about what I'm saying is that people who are watching this video, not all you guys, but some, a very select few, and the left, they're going to say what Tucker is doing is propaganda. That's what they do. Same thing but the whole Russia scare. Everything's about Vladimir Putin being the bad guy. With no evidence, they just say it. That's their propaganda. Tucker's over there with actual evidence saying, hey, here's what's going on, and they'll say it's fake with nothing to back up their assertion. Funny how that works. And before I go any further, let's get into the actual clip. If you want to see the full thing, I will link to it, of course, in the description box. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
So a long-standing feature, maybe the longest-standing feature of Cold War propaganda in the West was the Soviet grocery store. No products, no choices, shoddily made things. And it wasn't actually propaganda, it was real. And you can look up the pictures on the internet if you want. So we thought it would be interesting to take a look at a contemporary, modern-day, 2024 Russian grocery store 2 years into sanctions. Here we go. All right.
So Tucker, don't give me no copyright, boss. Let me live and let me do a reaction.
Here we go. So I guess you put in 10 rubles here and you get it back when you put the cart back.
Isn't that the same way they do in, what's that, like an Aldi? I think it's like the way they do it Aldi here in the States.
So it's free, but there's an incentive to return it and not just bring it to your homeless encampment. Okay, this is the grocery cart escalator. This is designed, I'm figuring this out now, where the wheels don't move, they lock on the grocery cart escalator.
That's pretty smart, very smart.
Look,
I've never seen that kind of thing before in my life. I've seen grocery stores with escalators, but I've never seen a grocery cart escalator. That's pretty, but you know what? The thing about that is you got to kind of be a little bit intelligent to use something like that. I could see a lot of Americans busting their whole head open on a thing like that and then trying to sue the store.
come on, no hands. Retail placement here is a little bit different. So it's like walking through Macy's to get to Whole Foods. Okay, we've gotten through the perfume section to get to the grocery store. So we're gonna try and buy what a family of four would buy every week.
I mean, they have stores like that in the US, or at least they used to have them. They would have a grocery store in the mall like this. Or am I remembering correctly? I think they used to have like Targets right in the middle of a mall. Yeah, it was very similar to this, if I'm not mistaken.
And we're gonna see what the selection is and we're gonna see what it costs. Now, Russia is famous for its bread, which is one thing I can assess pretty well. The low-carb lifestyle has not swept Russia. Thank heaven, because I mean, look at that. It's fresh, too. Look at that. Oh, come on. Unicorn.
That looks amazing. That really does look amazing. If it's made fresh, it probably got somebody's auntie or a gang of aunties in the back making that fresh. That'd be amazing.
Corn and mini mills. All right. Some kind of Russian wheat cookies.
And I'm sure the food is much better over there. Fewer preservatives, less chemicals, just overall better. In Europe and other parts of Europe, it's the same way. We have a lot of bad food over here in the States. things that really shouldn't be consumed by humans. We eat every day. They said, I saw a study that said 80% of Americans have a carcinogen in their body that comes from cereal that causes cancer.
Ooh, we need coffee, don't we? Yeah. I don't know if this is sugar or flour, to be honest with you, but it looks like a staple. So
looks like flour. I don't think they probably won't have granulated sugar just hanging out like that. Not in the big container that like that. At least I hope they would, not in Russia.
We should get it. It's a very good looking package. It's got to be flour, right? And this is Russian wine. It's from Crimea, which not only has the warm water naval base, but also is the source of most of the grapes.
That wine is probably top notch. Top notch. I want to go to Russia just to see what the food is like. I want to travel to different parts of the world to taste their food they have there. I don't want to go to Russia and eat McDonald's. Matter of fact, I do, to see how much different it is in our McDonald's here.
In this part of Russia for wine. So it's apparently pretty good. Cheese puffs. You check out of a grocery store and you've got gum, razor blades, and candy. Actually, they hide the razor blades because we steal them. But these are all seem to be Western products. Mars, Twix, Snickers.
One thing I've noticed is that there's nothing locked up. there's no regular items you would get every day just locked up behind glass.
Milky Way, Bounty, Gillette.
Now, what we're going to see in a minute is the price difference, because you're seeing these prices in rubles. These are obviously not dollars. Obviously, you're in Russia. We're going to see what all this stuff he's buying costs when you convert it into U.S. dollars. It's gonna kind of blow your mind, but at the same time, it probably won't.
Paul's cough drops, Mentos. Looks pretty non-sanctioned to me, but what do I know? I went from amused to legitimately angry. So we were guessing what this would cost. Everybody hears from the United States, buys groceries, and we didn't pay any attention to costs as we were just putting in the cart what we would actually eat over a week. And we all came in around $400, about $400. It was $104 US here. And that's when you start to realize that ideology maybe doesn't matter as much as you thought.
So basically, let's go back. Let's go back. The same things that they will have to, the same items, basically, that they will buy in the US for a week for groceries, $400, 400 US dollars, costs $100 in Russia. The same kind of items, same amount of food, calories or whatever, 400 to 100.
Ideology maybe doesn't matter as much as you thought. Corruption. If you take people's standard of living and you tank it through filth and crime and inflation, and they literally can't buy the groceries they want, at that point, maybe it matters less what you say or whether you're a good person or a bad person. You're wrecking people's lives in their country, and that's what our leaders have done to us. And coming to a Russian grocery store, the heart of evil, and seeing what things cost and how people live, it will radicalize you against our leaders. That's how I feel anyway, radicalized. We're not making any of this up, by the way, at all.
So shout out Tucker Carlson for going over there and exposing the reality of the Russian economy by going to a store and just buying stuff and, just doing journalism. This is journalism. Now, some are going to say, oh, he's no journalist and he said he wasn't a journalist. Like, he can call himself whatever he wants to call himself. This is journalism, true journalism, exposing the reality without the bias going into it, without the political motive. That's the main thing. I want you to be able to expose your truth for whatever it is, good, bad, ugly. That's what I want. I don't want to be fed propaganda. I don't want to be fed lies. I don't want to be fed misinformation from the media and be gaslit. They'll say, oh, well, if you're watching this and you're watching that, they're feeding misinformation and propaganda, all this, that, and the third. And when they say that, they're doing the exact thing that they say that they are doing. And MS-13 DNC would say Tucker is spreading misinformation. I'm not saying they have, but they would say a thing like that. The whole time they are doing what they accuse him of doing. I don't like that at all, which is why, as I close, alternative media is the future. Old school radio, television, they're going the way of the dodo bird. A lot of these news outlets, they're shedding staff right before an election. I think LA Times cut like 100 people. It's 2024. You're about to have an election. It doesn't matter because people are starting to just abandon ship. These old outlets are no longer relevant. People are watching people like myself and many others on the YouTubes for more accurate, more detailed, and more specifically true information. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what said you? What's your viewpoint on what Tucker was showing as far as the kind of products they had in the store, the options, the prices? Have you been to Russia? Have you been shopping? Is the experience he showed typical of Russia, or is it only like in a certain part of Moscow or St. Petersburg? Like, what's the Russian experience typically? How about the European experience? And how does it compare to the USA? And again, one thing I didn't see was stuff just locked up everywhere. You go to some parts of the USA, you got jeans, some of the old glory, Walmart, $15 cheap, the cheapest jeans in the continental United States are right there in Walmart, locked up behind glass. I didn't see any of that in Russia. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. As I said, I really enjoyed this truth. Nothing but the truth. That's what I like. That's what I enjoy. I need more of it. So I say, Tucker, keep it on coming. Don't stop doing what you're doing. Don't let the haters get in the way and stop your forward progress. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.